Gym injuries and how to avoid them. So this is something that comes up a lot as we get older, and I stupidly injured myself in the past when I was younger, being an egotistical young guy lifting really heavy weights and trying to show off, and I injured myself a couple of times, and those injuries come back and haunt me today. So if you're a young guy watching this, just be aware that although you can maybe train through those injuries when you're younger and get away with it, you probably pay for it when you get old like me. And it's not nice, because you wake up and you've got these aches and pains, and they affect your day-to-day living and general lifestyle, and it's not pleasant at all. And you don't want to be taking drugs all the time to get through that pain, so you have to find other ways of dealing with it. The problems that I have are generally my back, which I think a lot of people suffer from. That tends to give me issues with my shoulder as well. And then the other issue I have, which is really painful sometimes, or used to be before I found a way to solve that, was what they call tennis elbow. So it's just like an inflammation in the elbow joint, which often permeates down the forearm and even down into the hand, and it was affecting my whole lower arm. So it was making it uncomfortable. Sometimes I was waking up in the night with pain, and it was certainly making it sometimes so painful that I couldn't go to the gym and train. And every time I did go to the gym, that problem seemed to exacerbate. You know, any exercise you do, like bicep curls or something, where I was bending at the elbow, it was giving me a great deal of pain, and you could just feel it getting worse and worse over time. So thanks to a friend at work, a shout out to a guy called Steve, he had a listen to my complaints and suggested a way to sort that out. And I was very dubious, because there's very few things that I see in the industry. It's a bit like the supplement industry. You know, there's a big money making thing going on where people offer all these kind of different things that are supposed to help you remove pain or get rid of injury pain, etc., etc. And a lot of them are just absolute junk. You know, I've used quite a few in the past, and they just didn't do anything, and some of them are actually pretty dangerous and may make things worse. And what he showed me, I looked at again quite dubiously, and I was like, surely this thing isn't going to do anything for my elbow. What could that possibly do for an elbow? So he showed me exactly how you use it, which I'll do now. So it was simply gripping it and then twisting like so. So I'm just slowly twisting it, doing one hand at a time, and then say if I did 15 reps on that hand, I then move over and keeping my arms nice and straight, and I'm just twisting again. You can get these in different thicknesses and strengths, so I think this is the strongest one they do, I believe. They're called they're made by Theraband, and they do a variety of different thicknesses, right down to one that's quite easy to do. Now, not only that, but you can then grab it and rotate forwards, so that you can feel it pulling all the way up here, and it pulls slightly differently either way you do this. So I generally do 4 sets of this one. I do it in the evening when I'm sat watching TV, and 4 sets of this one. I do about 10 to 15 reps each, and I do one with each hand, just alternate the hands. Now there are other things you can do with this. You can put one end down onto a table, and then you can grab it and you can do this motion with your wrist, which again you can feel that working, that it's pulling all down here, because when you get that pain in there, you automatically try and sort of rub it and press it in. That doesn't seem to help much, and in fact that can even make it worse. but you can feel that these things really do pull all through there, and it's kind of loosening everything off. It's pulling it all out. And then the other one, again, you can put that on the table that way, and you can pull it back like so, and again that's pulling again in a slightly different way. It doesn't seem like it's going to be that effective when I'm showing you, and you'll probably think the same as me. You'll be dubious. They're not that expensive. I would seriously urge you, if you've got that type of pain that keeps coming back every time you train at the gym and it's really bothering your elbows, I would seriously buy one of those. They're a very small amount of money. Use it for a couple of weeks and then come back and tell me that I was wrong, because that I've tried everything to get rid of that shoulder elbow pain. Nothing worked. You know, the only thing that worked was NSAIDs, the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, and they're really bad to take for a long period of time. They start messing with your liver and kidneys, and also they prevent muscle growth. You know, there's studies that show that taking things like ibuprofen for long periods of time actually reduces muscle growth. So you definitely don't want to be doing that if you're trying to put on a bit of lean mass at the gym, and they're just bad for health in general. There's the other issue I have is with my back, and we're staying with blue tubular things. So most of you have seen these foam roller. Get hold of a decent one that isn't too squishy. It needs to be pretty solid, and I like the ones with the little bobbly pattern on. And the mistake most people make with these is that they just lay on them. So you lay on the floor on your back and you put that underneath your back, and then what most people do is just roll that up and down their back, and that kind of feels a little bit nice, but that doesn't tend to be the way to sort of cure your back issues. So the intention with those is that you start at maybe the top or the bottom, either one, and then you leave it in one place. You're laying there supporting yourself, so your hips are off the floor and your feet are on the floor, your body's in that kind of position, and the roller would be sat under there, your feet would be pressing you up, and then you're staying in one position, keeping that in one position on your back, and then doing multiple deep breaths in and out. Really, really deep. Breathe in as much as you can, inflate your whole chest and all your stomach, inflate everything up. Really, really deep breath out, and do that a load of times. And every time you breathe out, imagine everything relaxing in your body, all your back relaxing, all the muscles relaxing. And that deep breathing does relax all the muscle tissue, and what generally happens is you'll start to feel parts of your back click, and you do that slowly moving it up each segment of the spine, and just go either from top to bottom or bottom to top, whichever way, and just keep doing that deep breathing. Stay in one place, do the deep breathing, try and get a click in that place. Move it, you know, a ½ inch above, repeat, ½ inch above, repeat, and work that across the whole back one way, and then work it across the whole back the other way, and you'll probably definitely get some clicks while you're doing it. And then once you've finished, that for me gives me really, really good sort of movement in the back. I get a nice bit of flexibility, and I just feel like I'm rejuvenated. The other thing that I find really good for my back is that when I'm at the gym, I hang. So as if you're going to do a chin up, I just grab the chin up bar, and then I just let myself hang there. And interestingly, one of the bars that I hang off, it keeps my feet about 1 inch off the floor. And when I hang there, I just keep really breathing deep, same thing, breathing in and out really deeply, and after a few breaths my feet are actually completely touching the floor. So that gives you an idea of how much the compression is in my spine, and as I'm hanging, my spine and everything is slowly pulling back out, and I get like an increase of blood flow through my arms. You know, I feel the blood moving around better. So I've clearly got well, I know I've got some issues, but there's clearly an issue with the you know, things getting trapped and nerves getting trapped and stuff like that. So I find that really, really beneficial. The other thing which we should all be doing anyway is your basic stretching or yoga. So I do a sort of amateur combo of both, and I just do a series of stretches and very deep breathing and try and get as supple and as stretched as possible, and make sure that nothing's getting bound up, because when we do weight training, especially like the chest tends to get tightened up, and what you don't want, you see a lot of these guys weight training and they start having their shoulders rounding inward, and that's putting strain on the back all the time. You want your shoulders to be back, and the way to do that is to keep supple and keep everything mobile and working. You don't want all this muscle tissue to get really tight and it starts getting, you know, scarred, and it becomes virtually impossible to work out. Then you can go and see a sports physio. They're really good. They'll do you a massage, but they're expensive, so I would rather keep on top of it myself than pay someone else 30 or 40 pounds, you know, a couple of times a month to sort that out when I haven't been bothering. So a few tips for you guys. I hope that helps somewhat. There's a few other tips in the workout videos. I just did one on shoulders, and I just discussed in there a little bit about how I work around things in the gym to avoid getting injured. As we get older, we have to do this stuff. There's no point in just slogging through it, because we'll end up couch bound for 4 weeks and not going anywhere, and maybe can't even go to work. So that definitely doesn't need to happen, because I need to be able to work and put food on the table. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time. Take care.